Yoshi has been a sidekick in some fantastic games over the years, but he really came into his own with Yoshi's Island. And that is and remains one of my favorite games of all time. There's just something about that game, the way it came together, the look, the feel, everything about it. Such an amazing game, and it's definitely very highly regarded nowadays. And that's where Yoshi started his solo adventures, where Yoshi was the main character. And from there on out, it's been a bit of a rough road. There's been some highs and lows. Yoshi's Story was a fun game, but it failed to reach the heights of Yoshi's Island. Then there's Yoshi Topsy Turvy, which isn't really one of the best titles. Let's just say that. There's Yoshi Touch and Go on the DS, which had some charm to it, but there wasn't really much content to it. Then there was Yoshi's Island DS, which I thought was a fun game. I really enjoyed that title. Then there's Yoshi's New Island on the 3DS, which something just felt off about it. Wasn't a bad game, wasn't a great game, just somewhere in there. So as you can see, the series has been all over the place. And now the newest entry in the series is Yoshi's Woolly World, which came out on Wii U first and has now been ported to 3DS. And I thought the Wii U version was outstanding. It's without a doubt my favorite Yoshi game since Yoshi's Island. And now you can play it on the go. So how has the Wii U experience been ported down to the 3DS? How did it come out in the end? Let's take a look. So storyline, not that it matters, is that Kamek comes in and he's like, hey, I'm gonna turn you Yoshis into yarn and do stuff. That's about it. Yeah, I mean, nobody's really looking for a story there, so that's what sets you off on your adventure in Yoshi's Woolly World. And as you probably know, the game is completely yarn themed, or fabric themed. Everything's made out of yarn or felt or some kind of fabric that includes Yoshi himself and the surroundings. So it's the whole theme the game is using. And it was visually stunning on the Wii U, without a doubt. Very realistic looking and just a lot of fun to take in visually. And as far as the 3DS version goes, obviously it's not going to be as pretty as the Wii U version is, but by and large it does a good job of still maintaining that feeling from the Wii U version. It's obviously not as high res, and it's not as clear, and some of the assets have been dumbed down a little bit, but it does the job, and for a 3DS game, I think it looks pretty nice. So, visually still impactful, just, muddied from the Wii U transition. It's important to note that the visual style isn't just there to look nice, it plays directly into the gameplay as well. So there'll be little bows that you can untie that unravel certain sections of levels to show you hidden stuff. Enemies are made out of different types of yarn and stuff, so you can unravel them when to attack them. There's platforms that aren't filled in, and you have to throw yarn balls at them to stitch them together. There's zippers in levels to access doors and stuff like that. So the whole theme is worked into the gameplay and offers up unique mechanics, and it really makes the experience that much more cohesive. It's not there just to look pretty. The design of the game as far as looks goes right into the gameplay, and I can really appreciate that. The core gameplay of Poochy and Yoshi's Woolly World is platforming, and that platforming has a very heavy focus on collecting if you want to. You don't have to collect at all, you could just go through levels and race to the finish if that's what you want to do, but for those that are into collecting and unlocking extra content, there's a ton to get here. Levels have so much stuff hidden in them, and I guarantee there's going to be levels where you won't find everything on the first playthrough. Thankfully, the menu keeps track of what items you found and what levels, so you can go back and easily see what you missed and what you need to collect still. There's yarn spools in every level. There's the flowers that are part of the series for a long time now. There's a ton of gems to get. There's pencil patches that you can collect, and they are hidden in regular gems. So every once in a while, you'll pick up a regular gem, and it'll show you that it had a pencil patch in it. So plenty of stuff to collect, and like I said, when you do collect that stuff, you'll unlock other content, including new worlds that you couldn't get into before. So if you want to blow through the game, you can certainly do that, but there's so much more content waiting for people that want to go back and collect everything. The important part is levels are actually fun to replay multiple times because of the way things are hidden and how the scenery hides secrets behind it. You can push back certain parts of the level to reveal hidden things, and you can, like I said earlier, find ribbons that unravel portions of the levels, and you can sneak in there and crawl around and see what you can find. And the level designs themselves are fantastic. There's just... And not only are they fun to look at, but they're ridiculously fun to play. And there's so many different themes, and there's so many different ways that the yarn is used to make the levels that much more engaging. It's hard to decide if you want to rush ahead to the next level just to see what it has, or stay there and explore and try and find every single thing before you go on to the next level. And I never felt tired of going back into levels to try and find items that I missed the first time through. Sure, I got a little frustrated when I couldn't find some really well-hidden things, but that's part of the fun, because the satisfaction you get when you do find that one last gem or that one last pencil patch, whatever you're looking for, is so great when you accomplish it, and then you go on to the next level and you do it all over again. But the level design is absolutely fantastic. It is, like I said, without a doubt, my favorite Yoshi game since Yoshi's Island, and I feel the level design is an absolutely huge part of that. And another part that I absolutely have to talk about is the soundtrack. This game has such a fantastic soundtrack. The music from beginning to end is so whimsical and so memorable and perfectly fits the levels that you're in. And every single level features a new song, and that in and of itself is amazing. But it gets even more impressive. Takashi Tezuka, who worked on the game, wanted to make sure the game sounded unique. So not only did he make sure each level had a new song in it, he went through the process of learning how to play guitar so he could create some new songs for this game. That's a level of dedication that's insane, and it really shows when you're hearing the soundtrack. It is so great. And I loved it in the Wii U version, and I was nervous about it on the 3DS version, because obviously on the Wii U I'm listening through a home theater setup, but on the 3DS, while, you know, not exactly the same quality, it's still more than serviceable, and if you pop in some headphones it sounds even better. So please do not play this game with the sound off, and please don't ignore the soundtrack. It is fantastic. But what's here for the people that played the Wii U version, and you played Yoshi's Woolly World on Wii U, and you're wondering, should you get this version? What's new here? So obviously the biggest inclusion is Poochie, because he's in the title of the game now. It's Poochie in Yoshi's Woolly World. So Poochie's in there, and the biggest bit of new content comes from Poochie Dash mode, which is something you unlock as you play through the game. And Poochie Dash is like, it's like an automatic runner, but with more depth to it. So you'll play as Poochie, and Poochie runs on his own, and you can jump and bounce off things, and you can control how high Poochie bounces or jumps by holding down the button for different intervals. But the objective is, you know, run your way through the level and grab all the Poochie pups. And at the end of the level, you'll get your tally of, you know, however many gems you picked up along the way, blah, blah, blah. Then the game will give you more reasons to go back into these levels. It'll be like, go back in and collect 1,500 gems, or go back in and slide under the tree stumps, stuff like that. So there's 3 objectives in these levels to go back in and try and accomplish, and you'll get rewards and medals for completing whatever you can in those levels. It's not, obviously some of the challenges are going to be harder than others, so these levels pop up, and there's not a ton of them. I mean, this is content that's not in the Wii U version, but there's not a ton of them, so what is there is definitely fun, and I put in a good amount of time with it. And then there's also time trial, or time attack mode, if you tap the Poochie amiibo on the stage when you're playing it, so there's an added bonus for people that are getting the Poochie amiibo. But by and large, this Poochie Dash mode is the main new content. That's not all that Poochie does. You can also call in Poochie when you're playing the regular game, so Yoshi can ride on his back. And then there's Mellow Mode, where the Poochie pups will help you sniff out secrets and levels. So if you're having a particular bit of trouble finding a hidden whatever in one of the levels, you can switch to Mellow Mode and call in the Poochie pups for help. And then that's about it as far as Poochie goes. I mean, seeing him in the game is great. I love the character, but it's not like there's a huge amount of content that you get for with Poochie in here. I did enjoy what I played, but if you've played the Wii U version, I can't say definitively. Yes, the amount of content here is so great with Poochie in the 3DS port that you should pick it up. I can tell you that I enjoyed what I played, and it was a nice addition for someone who has played the Wii U version. But as far as, you know, selling you on the game, I can't make that claim. There's a few other minor things worth mentioning that are new in this version. You get the Yoshi stop animation videos. You can watch them in Yoshi Theater. If you're playing this on the new 3DS, it'll be 60 frames per second like it was on the Wii U, but if you're not, you'll get it in 30 frames per second. There's the ability to craft new designs for Yoshi depending on like patches that you get in levels. You'll be able to pick up different designs and mix and match them to craft your own Yoshi. So there's, you know, there's little things in there. Again, all of this content adds up to fun content and engaging stuff, but not a brand new wealth of content for me to say, yes, without a doubt, if you bought the Wii U version, you have to get this version. So you can probably guess why Nintendo brought this game over to the 3DS. It's much like Super Mario Maker. They put the game out on Wii U, it did well, and they think they can reach a bigger audience on 3DS because the Wii U didn't sell as much. So Super Mario Maker has moved a couple million units on 3DS, and now Yoshi's Woolly World, or Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World, will hopefully do the same on the 3DS, because it's certainly deserving of it. If you haven't played the Wii U version, this is without a doubt a must-buy for the 3DS. I mean, if you're a Nintendo fan, you probably like platformers, and this is, I think, one of the best platformers Nintendo's made in recent years. Yoshi's Woolly World is without a doubt one of my favorite platformers, or / games of 2015 this came out. I loved it. I loved the whole experience from beginning to end. It finally felt like a real quality, expertly crafted pseudo-sequel to Yoshi's Island. But I really enjoyed it. I loved everything about it, and everything that I loved is still present in this 3DS version. You know, visual downgrade and lower quality audio, but still doesn't hinder the experience at all, especially if you've never played the Wii U one. So for those who haven't played that version, I cannot recommend it enough. It's just such a fun game. It's one of those games, or I should say specifically, it's one of those platformers that has that Nintendo feel. It's got that Nintendo magic to it that really sticks out and resonates with me as a longtime Nintendo fan. I feel like there's just certain Nintendo games that have that magic to them, and this one is one without a doubt. So again, I cannot recommend it enough. If you have a 3DS, you should absolutely pick up this game. There's plenty of content to take on. The game is a blast from start to finish. It's a fantastic experience. So don't miss out on it if you didn't pick up the Wii U version, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed by what you get. Hey guys, RMC here from Go Nintendo. If you like what you saw in the video, why don't you give us a thumbs up and maybe even subscribe? We'd love to have you. If you want to see what else we're up to, you can check out GoNintendo.com for 24-hour Nintendo news. You can visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/GoNintendo. You can check us out on Twitter at twitter.com/GoNintendoTweet. And we're even over on Instagram at instagram.com/GoNintendo. I put all the links in the description just to make it easier for you guys to follow. Thanks a lot!